Good morning. This miserable Sunday where it's rainy, I couldn't think of something better than meeting with Anthony Alemany. And I got to know Anthony because I took a class with him in sculpture, and I was very impressed by his skills as a teacher. And then I checked his work, I was on his website, and I was blown away. So if you have not taken a class with Anthony, maybe this is something you really need to consider. Especially if you're interested in portraiture and clay work. So I decided to interview him for this quarter of the month for NESA, and I have some questions for him. And I always start with the same question, which is about the definition of an artist. So how do you personally define who is an artist? What does it mean to be an artist?
Oh wow, yeah, that's a really good question. For me, so many people define art in so many different ways, and I think for me, an artist is someone who reflects on the world around them and the world within, and finds a way to identify and relate those observations to people around them in a tangible way. So a lot of these things that we feel and that we think are things that are immaterial, they're emotional, they're imagination, and so as an artist we're able to take these concepts, these ideas, and then translate them into something that people can see and touch and feel.
And make it tangible.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I like that definition. I have a question about art and race, because you wrote in your bio or artist statement that you are mixed race from Puerto Rico, and you think of yourself as a white person as well. So you said, having my feet in both worlds created a tension that art helped me escape. It was the one thing that gave me an avenue to express myself and build connections. Can you expand on what kind of tension you experience between those two worlds?
Yeah, that's like I said, I'm half Puerto Rican, so my mom's white, my father's from Puerto Rico, and I grew up in Ringgold, Georgia, and so there was always this tension of identity within me and my family. I have so many brothers and sisters. I'm one of 7, and we all look so different. We joke with each other and say we look like a bus stop. Some of my brothers and sisters look, like Afro, Latino. They look black, and then some look like they could come from Mexico, and some of us we look white. And like, what are we all doing together? But we're all brothers and sisters. I guess that's genetics. But it created this tension where I didn't quite feel like I fit within sort of like the group of white, even though I look white, but I didn't feel like I fully belonged in sort of that Hispanic category. And
especially that you said you didn't really speak Spanish.
Yeah, my father was fluent in Spanish, but he didn't teach us Spanish. And so me, like growing up, I didn't feel like I belonged. Even though I looked white, I didn't really feel like I belonged there. But also I didn't feel like I was fully a part of the Hispanic community either. And so there was always this tension that of identity that I've carried with me. And art was so liberating because it allowed me to escape those confinements. I didn't have to try to placate one side or the other. I just got to express myself and to be myself for who I uniquely am. I'm a unique combination of so many different ancestors from so many different backgrounds, and in today's day and age that can be very complicated, but art allowed me to explore that.
That's fantastic, because I always believe that art can be healing. I did think of it as bridging as well. It could be a bridge, so that's really wonderful that it built that bridge between the two entities who you are. How did art serve as a release and a bridge in navigating the tension? Because you said art saved me. In what way? Can you literally tell me more about how art helped you in bridging between the two entities?
Yeah, it gave me something to focus on, to look at the world and to look at myself and to be able to express that. Art is a language without words. You can express so many things in art that you know they say a picture's worth 1,000 words.
True, yeah.
Well, how much more a sculpture or work of
True,
art?
yeah.
And so being able to express myself when I had all of this like struggle within me was healing for me, and it still feels like healing. Even though this is my full-time job, I don't feel like I'm working, which is what I've always heard about growing up. But yes, it's a blessing, and so it allowed me to you know, like I said, express myself, and I could. People like who were Hispanic or who were white, when I showed them my work, family or friends, everybody, they were always like amazed that I could do that. And so that was something that was
Yes,
healing for
yeah.
me and was exciting for me and motivated me to do more. And yeah, like I said, if it wasn't for art, I'd go crazy.
Me too. The next question is about nudity and healing,
Mhm.
because you wrote, I don't like feeling confined by modern assumptions or past prejudices. This is why I use nudity as a tool to remove barriers that tether our assumptions to specific times, places, and cultures. I'd say this is because my journey has been one torn. This is a very big statement, and I was wondering, like, could you elaborate more about what you mean by my journey has been torn?
Yeah, you know, there's always struggles when you're growing up mixed race, especially in a place like in Georgia. So there's some, like I said, it's been a struggle, and not only the personal tensions from within, but also the tensions from without. And like going back to like art as healing, for me, the nude figure in art has been a vehicle for me to express myself, because the human figure defies any one particular group or language. We're all human. We all, no matter what culture you come from, we all have the same or similar desires and passions. And when you look at a nude figure, it's not carrying a passport, you know, it's not carrying a flag or a banner. It's a universal language that we can all identify with. We all, as humans, identify with being human. And so by stripping away the clothing and the things that connect it to a particular time and place can allow the artwork to be timeless, which I think is why throughout history so many artists have used the nude figure as a vehicle for expressing themselves. Could you imagine during the Industrial Revolution with the big mustaches and the hair, and then every time you look at a piece, no matter how sophisticated or deep of a message someone was trying to communicate, generations later would be so trapped in looking at that particular time and place that this figure captures. And sometimes that's important for the artist, but I think a lot of times we want to express something that's timeless. And you know, the human figure is something that can do that.
But now that we're talking about race, having a black model, for example,
Sure.
isn't that the pigment that we're talking about that's creating a lot of controversy?
Sure.
In what way you handle that? In what way you feel you pass that barrier of color?
Well, I think as a sculptor, whenever I'm working in bronze, depending on the patina, it doesn't matter what color skin you have, because the patina is going to be however that sculpture manifests itself. And a lot of the Afro-European or Latin American features that we see in people, they're more features. And skin color is a barrier, I think, for us as humans. But when you look at a sculpture, that in a way kind of strips that away and brings us down to the essence of this is the human form, this is the human figure, 2 eyes, 2 arms. They look like they could be me. I think a lot of times viewers, when they look at a sculpture, what makes it a powerful work of art is when the viewer can see themselves or someone that they know in that work of art, which is one of the reasons why I'm drawn to the nude figure in art, which is another reason why I'm drawn to sculpture, because it, like I said, it allows you to see that figure unencumbered by all of the cultural practices.
Beautiful people, yeah. On growth and practice, how do you stay engaged with new techniques, methods, or approaches in both making and teaching art?
Wow, you've got so many good questions. I feel like I could spend a lot more time thinking about them. I think for me, the important thing is to stay curious. I think curiosity is what has led to so many human innovations, and to just be open-minded to the world around us, to people around us. And for one of the best ways that I can do that is to teach, because I teach in this space here at Sanctuary Arts, and so many people come who are new to sculpture, who are curious, and I now have to think about my own practice and how do I explain that? How do I articulate what I do in a way that they can understand? And that always forces me to look at my work differently, or to think more deeply about my practices, which allows me to gain insights or find areas where I can improve. I also experiment with different mediums and different processes. When I first started sculpting full-time, I was doing a lot of resin castings, and now lately I've been doing a lot more work in bronze, doing some fabrication going along with my pieces, as well as welding, and I've been exploring a lot of mythological beliefs. I'm very interested in myth, in the motif of myth. I particularly like Greek mythology, but I'm fascinated by just human myth in general, because I think that there's this sort of underlying humanity to all of the world's myths and religions, and there's something in that is subconscious, that's raw, that's unfiltered, that's beautiful and terrifying, all at the same time. And so one of the things that I've also been working on now is finding a way to explore what does it mean to encounter monsters. And I think that in a lot of the work that I'm working on now, that'll kind of be coming out in the next year or two and beyond, is how do we face monsters, both outside and within, both metaphorical and physical, and looking at Greek mythology as a way to kind of incorporate that with the figure and expressing that concept is something that's
Fascinating.
Yeah, it's very fascinating.
Because I always thought like monsters are associated with our childhood, like you're scared of the monster under the bed, but practically monsters are walking around us.
Right,
So
and then also one other thing that fascinates me is you've heard that phrase, never meet your heroes. Well, I think we're all human, and so sometimes we're shocked to find that there are monsters within us.
Yeah, that's true.
And
sadly.
Right, and we don't want to face or accept that, but with art, it gives me the courage to face those monsters within, and to kind of try to ask questions instead of running away from them.
Really? You made me, I need to reconsider my monsters now and think about that. So what is new in the horizon? Do you have any new projects or directions? Are you exploring something new?
Yeah, I think aside from all the stuff that I just spoke about, I do have quite a lot of commissions that I'm working on right now, which is a good problem, but it's a lot of work. I have, it's recently been announced I'm sculpting a life-size bronze Wabanaki figure for the city of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and a historical figure for the city of Newmarket, as well as a whole array of other team projects and other commission projects that I'm going to be working on with the Green Foundry and some other private clients. And so some of those pieces I can talk about, some of them I can't talk about, but it's a lot on my horizon. And I've got 2 small children, which always
another 2 projects.
Another 2 projects. It's always a working project.
Are they artists like you?
They are. They love painting and sculpting, and they have been around me their whole lives, sculpting and drawing, so they're very familiar with art.
They're so lucky.
I'm so lucky, and it's so fun to see these little humans who are learning to grasp the world around them, and it's so fun to see how they put things into words. You know, we'll go to an art gallery and they'll be interested and they'll talk about the works that they see, and to hear the way the way they look at it is so alien to the way I look at things sometimes. The fresh mind of a child, of a human, a young human.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And you can always learn from them. They're just
Absolutely.
amazing.
Yes.
So what would you like to tell our NESA members? How can you bring them to the sanctuary, or classes, or sculpture?
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, if anyone's ever interested in taking classes with me, we have, you can go to the Sanctuary Arts website. This space was founded by Christopher Gowell. She's a fantastic sculptor and has been a mentor to me.
You can see her
a lot of her
art up there.
works are behind me.
Yeah.
Not my works, these are Christopher's. So this is an inspiring space to come be in. And like I said, you can go to the Sanctuary Arts website, look at the classes, whole array of instructors, drawing, painting, sculpture, jewelry, ceramics. And I usually teach 1 or 2 classes every semester.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, really.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure as well. Thank you, Beta.
My pleasure.